Welcome to Chapter 36 on weldments. The main thing in weldments that I want to focus on here in the introduction is the 3D sketch. We've talked about 3D sketch previously, but a lot of that information bears repeating. You can activate the 3D sketch from the sketch toolbar, and then many of the tools that you're used to are still available within the 3D sketch. There are a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense unless you're sketching on a plane within a 3D sketch. But you can use lines, and you can start them at one place and drag them to another. If you're not satisfied with where that went, then you can take that and drag it off the plane. Now, it's hard to tell just where that goes without swiveling the view around, but one thing that you can do is use the viewports, and these splitters are down at the bottom. You can grab those and pull one up and then grab the other one and pull it over. You can also get there through the window menu, viewport, and select your preference. Now, this makes it easier to set up this viewport as the front, this one as the top, this one as the right-hand side, and then this viewport, you need to unlink it, and you can do that just by calling up the view cube, and you could hit a corner on the view cube, or you could use a view orientation box and select one of the various orientations that's available. Once this view is unlinked, you can rotate it easier. From these other views, you can move whatever you want to, and it shows up in the other views, and it's easier to see just exactly what's going on. If you want to dimension something, dimensioning things in 3D is a little bit difficult. If you just put a dimension on here, then that's going to be just that length all the time, and it'll be like connecting a length of string. It's not that length in any particular direction. If you want to make it in a particular direction, then what you need to do is dimension from a plane, and now this point will always be 3 inches from the selected plane. And of course, you'd have to do that 3 times to fully define the sketch. So you could dimension it from the front plane to that point. Okay. And then again, you might want to go to a different viewport to dimension from the top plane to this point. Okay, so now you notice that even in a 3D sketch, you can fully define the sketch using dimensions and the sketch relations if you want to. Now, you can also create sketch planes within a 3D sketch. I find these to be fairly unreliable. They don't behave like you are used to having planes behave, so I personally leave these alone. And you can have a portion of the 3D sketch on a plane. That's good for times when you need to create things like circles, arcs, and whatnot. Splines are also a fantastic tool in 3D. Not necessarily great for weldments. Weldments are usually created from straight sections of stock material and not generally custom formed, but it can be bent into various radiuses. A 3D sketch spline would work more for wiring or tubing than for weldments or piping. So let's build something out of this 3D sketch line that we've started. We can create another line here, come back. Okay. So maybe we're creating a stand for basketball goal. They need to be much larger than this, but we're getting the shape just about right. If you want to change the direction or the plane that it's sketching on, see, the cursor is giving you a lot of information. It's saying that it's putting this line or the second endpoint of the line on the YZ plane, on the same YZ plane as the first point was in. So if you want to switch that plane, you can hit Tab. Now it's in the ZX plane. It's not necessarily exactly in the ZX plane, but it's in a plane parallel to the ZX plane, if that makes any sense. So the ZX in this case is kind of the floor, which indicated by the origin indicator over here. And it's below the main origin, which is up here, by this amount, this 1.756. So I could drag this line out, pull this across, come back, and now you can apply some sketch relationships. I'm going to select these two and make them along Z. I can also give this line a bit of a dimension, and the more I add, the more will be defined. But you have to add a lot of dimensions in three-dimensional space to get a fully defined sketch. And notice that these dimensions don't always go the way you think they should. So once you have a structure created with your 3D sketch, you can use the Weldments tab on the Command Manager, and you might want to exit the sketch first, and then you can start with your weldment. The weldment process involves just telling Solidworks that this is going to be a weldment part, and you do that with the weldment feature. That enters some information into the feature manager that allows Solidworks to identify this part as a weldment. And then you can continue by adding structural members. What sort of standard is this using? Is it an ANSI inch, or have you created a custom one or an ISO? You can use various types of materials. If we were to switch back here to the ANSI inch, which has more standard information in it, then we have several different types of sections that we can work from. But you might have noticed that in my custom standard, I've created things like wood. Lumber projects turn out to be very well suited to the Weldments tool. During the course of this chapter, we create a picnic table, but then we also create supports for lighting that comes from the ceiling and things like this that are also definitely Weldments. So don't be constrained in your thinking to think just steel or just welding process. You can also join materials using other methods. Lumber definitely fits kind of the stock shape and straight length scenario that most of your weldment material fits as well. So from here, we select a type of material from the standard, we select the size, and then from here you can start applying this to geometry. All right, we can go back to our 3D sketch and adjust some sizes. Okay, now that we've got some more realistic sizes in here, we can return and start selecting more path segments for each group. You can go in and on each corner tell it what type of corner that you want to create. Is this a miter corner or a butt that goes one way or the other? There are also various types of caps that you can apply at the end of open sections, and all of that information will be indicated by the pink dot to specify the corner treatment. You can make a new group and apply a new type of material. So you can also adjust the various rotational orientation of each section on the sketch line if you want to. A lot of things that you can do controlling the weldment. Once you're done with the weldment, you can make a drawing of this and create a cut list of the various pieces used in your weldment, how they are cut, how long they are cut. It's like a bill of materials for a weldment. There's much more detailed information in the course of the chapter, and I hope you'll take advantage of that and do some of the exercises that you find there. Thanks very much.